Hey guys, welcome back to the Matt Chat Podcast with yours truly, Paul Ciano and Christopher Shea. Just first, guys, want to give a big shout out to everybody out there who's following, sharing on Facebook, on iTunes, on SoundCloud, and on YouTube. Man, it's been an overwhelming, the overwhelming support has been fantastic.
And the response, let's be honest, these people are actually starting to comment on some of our silliness. I love it.
It's kind of nice. It's kind of nice, and I think bringing a broad spectrum to what the Match Chat Podcast is all about. I think is what the biggest surprises to most people.
There's no doubt it's a surprise for sure.
So we felt that it was time, at least the producer Peter felt it was time to answer some questions. So
I still can't believe that there's freaking questions out there for two knuckleheads like us, but hey, shoot at it because we got some good stuff and hopefully we'll have some good answers for you. Let's just preface this. We don't even know what the questions are because Peter wants us to act like all like surprise and he wants it to be off the cuff so it gets a little bit more crazy. Let's just see what he's going to shock us with, please. Don't shock us with too much crazy stuff though.
We're not the shockable types.
Question number one from Madge.
From who?
Madge.
Okay.
Wow.
What were you guys like as teenagers?
Teenagers.
I think as teenagers we were
we were crazy, dude. Back in the day, we had. I'll give you a funny story. Remember just going down hunting?
Yes.
Dude, we just would walk around. Back in the day, you could walk around with shotguns, handguns, all types of stuff, and just blow shit up. It was awesome.
It was awesome. We literally one time was myself, Chris, and Fatty Tompkins. Those you had to know who Fatty Tompkins.
And he'll be on the show at some point. Make no mistake about it.
Where are you guys from, so people have a frame of reference?
Patterson, New York.
Yeah.
So
upstate here.
Yeah. Putnam County, not upstate.
Yeah.
Like 45 minutes from the Bronx. To be technical. But Putnam County, Patterson, New York. So back then, man, we had hunting licenses at 14 years old.
Yeah, we did.
And it was not abnormal for kids to be walking down 311
with
our shotguns on our back.
Absolutely.
I mean, that was just we were hunting, and the troopers would go by, and hey, what are you guys doing? We're hunting. All right, great. So we actually, we went hunting one day, and Fatty Tompkins missed a pheasant from like 2 feet away. Remember that? Literally, missed the fucking pheasant from 2 feet away. So we're like, fuck this.
Because let's be honest, once you shoot a shotgun once, everything is scared. There's anything that was potentially going to come out is gone. So you're not shooting anything unless you can find something. So
exactly.
Where do we find stuff? In the water.
We literally walked down a railroad track by the Patterson Dump, and basically, if it was there, it was open game. So like chickadees, snapping turtles,
large crickets were getting shot at.
So that basically, as teenagers, and it progressed on, from that to, I think the biggest thing is like the shit we did. You didn't get arrested for. Like, the cops were different then. Like, if you were fucking around, they'd whoop your ass and then take you home.
That was the difference.
Or
you get an ass whooping. You call your parents would give you an ass whooping, and they say, stop that shit. It's silly.
But the craziness continued, right up into our senior year of high school. We went to Daytona Beach. And a friendly volleyball game turned into a bloodbath. Yeah, a bloodbath. I'm not even a lie. It's not even anything I'm making up. It literally became so competitive because that's when competition was allowed.
But let's also be honest. When we were in school, you had this clique and you had that clique and you had the other clique. When we went down to Daytona Beach, I actually felt like our school just came together. It didn't matter what clique you were, who you hung out with, what you did. Everyone was just collectively a knucklehead or that was one of my favorite trips.
Everyone's together.
What school was this?
Carmel High School, class of 1989. I think one of my classic, outside of the volleyball game turned into a street fight on the beach, which it did.
It really did.
Just like the shit, I remember coming out of the ocean. I come out of the ocean, these guys are in the pool, and these other guys, Eric Mutual and Eric Chanley were in the pool with him. And I came out of the ocean, and they're in the pool, and I go, son, get out of my pool, it's my time. He turned around to me and goes, son, you just got out of my pool. Talking about the ocean. So I was like, oh, shit.
It was just shit talking the entire time.
It's great time. Yeah. So it really, to answer the question, it's just
not much different, just a little bit more mature right now and not a whole bunch.
Same shenanigans taken.
I hope that answers the question.
Another question. How long have you guys known each other, and roughly how old were you when you met?
Well, okay. I got to be honest. We've known each other for quite a while. We're both he's 47, I'll be 47 in a couple more weeks, or months rather, 2 months. And I would say we've known each other since probably 2 or 3. Our parents were both volunteer firemen. So back in the day, what the fathers would do is they would say, hey, listen, the women staying home, the fathers are going to go to the firehouse to drink, let's be honest, and the kids can run amok. And that's what we used to do. We used to run all over the firehouse, play hide and seek, have ice wars, and by probably 2-3 years old, that relationship started to develop. We moved on into elementary school. We started playing team sports together, and from that point forward, the athletes kind of hung out with the athletes.
So
that we
legitimately,
went
you're talking 45
years.
Yeah,
45 years.
So
yeah.
That's the answer to that question.
He's the godfather to my son. I'm the godfather to his son. So, I mean, we hung out in high school. We hung out in college. Even when he was in another school, we would come visit each other. The shenanigans would continue.
Yes, they did.
And then it followed through now.
Yeah.
Where were your people from? Like, I mean, were they from New York City, or are they country people who are always up there?
I always said, well, I'm a country Guinea. Because I grew up up here. I mean, our parents came from down below
the city. Both of them came from the Bronx.
Yeah, like mine came from Mount Vernon and whatnot. And so yeah, but I don't ever like. I'm not one of those guys. Oh, I'm from there. No, motherfucker, I'm from Patterson. That's where I'm from. I mean, that's where I grew up. That's I don't.
It's who we are.
Because I was born in Mount Vernon Hospital doesn't mean I'm from Mount Vernon. Correct. I know nothing of it. I never grew up there. I don't want to know about it. I know about up here.
And let's be honest. It's nice living up here.
Yeah.
Especially. I mean, I think that's why both of our parents moved out of there. I mean, I listen. Every person's to own. I'm not trying to judge them, but my parents didn't want to raise me down there. They wanted to raise me up here, and
I wouldn't trade it for the world.
And that's what. And let's be honest. We had the abilities to move down there also, and we chose to stay up here and raise our families up here as well.
Education-wise, we came back.
Yeah, absolutely, we came back.
So, Paul.
Oh, good. I'm glad this one's for him.
You have to tell the truth. Did you ever play lacrosse?
I absolutely, positively never played lacrosse.
Why?
It's not for men. I mean,
it also helps they didn't have it at our school, but yes, it's not for men.
I mean, I don't. And here's the thing. I want to answer this because I have gone off on that sport, and I don't mean to go off on it as a sport. I mean to go off on it as it applies to how it applied in my town. I think it's a more accurate thing. I have no problem with girls playing lacrosse. I think it's a great girls sport. And I mean that. I'm not being a wise guy or I'm trying to be fresh in any way, shape, or form. I think, hey, each to his own as far as lacrosse is concerned. It's the ideology of what surrounded in the town that I live in now is why I despise it. So I don't despise New Fairfield. I don't despise the sport. I want to make that very, very clear. Right. I'm a sportsman by nature. Like, I would respect.
When the Indians used to cut off the head,
that was real.
That's the man's sport. That was real shit.
Yeah. But like on a serious note, like I would sit and watch high level ping pong, and I fucking mean that. Like I'm a sportsman. Like I'd be like
bowling,
I'm watching
darts.
That shit.
Doesn't matter.
But like it has to do with the fact of the culture and ideology of where it is in my town. And I'm talking from a male lacrosse standpoint. Leave the women out of it. It has nothing to do with it.
Right.
I mean, so I want to be no. But and as a whole though, dude, it does nothing for me. It really doesn't. I've done man sports my whole life. My sons do man sports. We don't even relate to it. It's not in our DNA, if that makes any sense. People can go on and on about it. Oh, you couldn't play it. Fucking play that shit. I've been an athlete my whole life. I mean, give me a break. You know what I mean? So it's like, please. But it's like the comparison. Like, people drink the Kool-Aid with that shit in New Fairfield. Like, you know what? You only drink that Kool-Aid because you can't drink a man's drink of whiskey called wrestling or football or jiu-jitsu or sambo or boxing. I mean, so again, I'm glad you asked. I'm glad that was asked because I want to make it clear. It's not a bashing on lacrosse.
Yeah. It's a bashing of the town, the way our town does it. Yeah.
Male lacrosse.
Correct.
Is there any truth to the rumors that, Paul, you're thinking of running for mayor of New Fairfield?
Who the fuck asked that?
Someone from New Fairfield, that's what it said.
A, we don't have a mayor. B, there's selectmen in the town. I would never run for any of that stuff, even though I feel I would be great at it because my ideology is to one side. I'm not. I am right of Attila the Hun. I'm conservative. I have no use for liberal nonsense or that side of the aisle. And that's something that really developed over time because of the nature of politics in this country over the last 8 to 10 years. So no, I've got better things to do with my time. I mean, I have been approached. I am not even kidding. I swear on my mother's eyes, it happened. Actually, I was dropping Pell off to school. She works with your wife, and she said to me, we were talking about it the other day, and you'd be great for this board, and I'm like, nah. I said, you don't want me on that board.
Yeah.
Trust me, you don't. So, but it has been. On a serious fucking note, I have been approached by it.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
If you were running, what would your motto be?
My motto would be, it would be 2 little words: man up. You know,
That's fair. That's fair.
it.
Absolutely.
That would be my motto. You know?
We have a comment here from one of our listeners. Do you feel you guys are sexist?
Feel what it's like.
No, I think I absolutely not. I certainly don't feel that way. I was raised
Sexy.
Yeah,
Not sexist.
Exactly. I mean, I was raised by a strong woman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And my mother, to deal with my father, has to be strong. You know, and my dad's my older.
And let's be honest, back in the day, our mothers stayed home. They raised us.
Yeah.
They handled everything. The fathers were always gone. I mean, my mother used to go to my games. My father was always working, so he wasn't there. I used to throw the ball with my mother. I would throw at football because my father was always out working. So we were raised by very strong women. So we appreciate that, but we also...
my dad was involved in a lot of stuff. I mean, I can't... My
He used to
mother...
coach
my
baseball,
dad was involved, so my dynamic's a little different, but just being raised in that very European,
Italian.
Sicilian, you know, background, like, I've always been around strong women. I mean, I'm far from that. I think that the message that's conveyed is, you know, we convey a message of manliness. It doesn't mean that we're going to attack or belittle a woman. I never do that, ever. I don't care who it is. I have a daughter.
Yeah, absolutely, of course.
And
just for the record, we're raising our daughters tough. Let's be honest.
Yeah. So
I pity the guy that's going to marry my daughter.
My daughter's nickname's Paulina. So I mean,
I like my women like I like my coffee, strong, dark, and bitter.
Well, that was going into the next question that someone sent in. They asked if you had any daughters, and how is that different for you, raising a daughter versus a son?
Totally. There's
different.
double standards in my house. Listen, I even tell my daughter, I got a double standard for raising you versus raising my boys. I know people don't want to hear that, but guess what? That's how I was raised.
Yeah.
Girls have to live up to a certain standard. Boys have to live up to a totally different standard. My daughter's never going to date. So just listen up right now, boys. She's never going to date. She's going to live with me for the rest of her life. I already planned on building something on the side of my house.
Buy whatever she wants.
That's what I'm saying. And I like her the best. You can ask my sons. They'll tell you straight up, Juliana's my favorite. Why? Because she still likes me. I can walk home in my house. All my kids will be home. The only one who greets me will be my daughter. She'll give me a hug, and she smells good, which is a plus. She's a good snuggler. I like to snuggle with her. My boys don't like snuggling anymore. They think they're too big for it. But listen, at the end of the day, she's going to be a strong woman, and I raised her to be a strong woman, and she's only going to accept a strong man, because I can tell you right now, she's going to run over and railroad some weak snowflake. I'll tell you that right now. That's if I ever let her date, which I already said I'm not gonna.
No, I'm on the same page with a lot of that, and one thing I'm blessed with my daughter is that she has my personality, 100%, to the point where she's attacked for it. So I have no worries with her, none. And same thing.
Well, she also stands on her 2 feet. She's super smart. She's super athletic. She's super motivated.
Listen, she does what she's supposed
she
to
don't need a man in her life.
Yeah, she does what she's supposed to do, and I don't have to motivate her to do it. So again, and I have to agree with that statement. She will run over a snowflake. So you know, and all those old school rules do apply in my house as well. So shoot, Peter.
So what were you guys? I heard rumors about a trip down the Jersey Shore. Can you elaborate on that a little bit? Since we're talking about double standards.
There was many trips to the Jersey Shore. And they were all fun-filled. Oh, you better just... They were all fun-filled. Again, you got away with shit back then that you would never get away with now.
Dude, we were chased by samurai swords.
I got drawn down on by the police in Jersey Shore. I mean, I'll tell that story because that's probably the best.
That's one of the best ones.
Well, I could tell 2 stories. So we were down there with a bunch of other guys that we grew up with and having a great time, and there were some other guys with us that we had to watch more than others because they
were a little sillier,
more aggressive in the silly ways and whatnot. So this guy came in one night. It was like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. We were back. We had rented like a house.
We rented the house.
We had a house. And he comes in and he starts talking about this girl he hooked up with, and he's like, "Oh, she's a good girl," and we're like, "Good girl." So Fatty Thomas goes, "Shit, what the fuck, good girl? You just fucking plopped her under the boardwalk. You know, she's a fucking good girl." You know, so like that was the joke, and I remember.
So he just met her.
He met this girl.
He said hi, and next thing you know, the boardwalk.
Yeah, he met this girl, and like.
But we connected, though. We had a spiritual connection, a spiritual awakening.
This fucking jackass is trying to tell us how she's a good girl, and Fatty Tom's like, "You just fucking met her, Shane. Oh, she's a good girl." So it was like, that was the joke, like, going on. So the day progresses. It's like 4 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, and I just laid down. Like, I just came in. And this guy we grew up with, Mike Colombo, comes in, and he goes, "All I gotta say is everyone's worried about me getting arrested, and Fatty Tompkins is on the boardwalk in handcuffs." I'm like, "What?" Yeah. I jump up, right?
In shorts, no shirt,
and I'm weighing about 250 at the time. Still built like this.
Yeah, we had a group of Mama Lukes with us.
Yeah, so I'm built just like this, just bigger, right? I jump up, no socks, no shoes, no shirt. Boom, out the fucking door. I'm running down the street and I see it. Here's fucking Fatty. He's in fucking handcuffs, right? These motherfuckers, they see this bald head freak. I was bald then too. Stop! I go.
In a full sprint.
I'm in a full fucking sprint. I go, "Okay, just tell me where you're taking them."
Yeah.
And that's the truth.
This is not a lie.
This is not a lie. I swear on my fucking eyesight. "Okay, just tell me where you're taking them." And they took him to Ocean County Jail because we were out of state and we had to get him out. And and he didn't even do anything bad. It was fucking stupid. You know, something ridiculous. But being from New York and being in Jersey, they didn't play games. Got him out in the morning.
And those troopers, they don't play games.
They don't fuck around down there.
Yeah.
I mean, so it was like one of those things. Like, that's the type of shit that happened. But like, that's a true story, man. I'm like,
how about the samurai sword?
Oh yeah, and the guy. Why don't you tell that one? The guy comes down, out the street with the fucking samurai sword.
He's ready to chop us up into pieces.
Yeah. Basically.
What'd you do? Annoy him?
I don't know what he did.
I don't even know what happened.
I don't remember what it was, but that was.
All I know is some guy comes running after us with a samurai sword.
Fucking samurai sword. Yeah. So like these.
That was back in the day, baby.
Yeah, back in the day. So this shit happens.
Let's be honest. We really should be dead like 50 times over. If I tell you half the stuff that we've done, oh my goodness.
We were driving to Jersey Shore.
Yeah. Before we even got there.
Down there. We're driving down the Garden State Parkway.
And we're pulling the arrest area.
And we, on the way, are throwing fucking beer cans and soda cans out the fucking car on the highway where people called.
Yeah.
Even when there was no cell phones then. Called. We got pulled over. We got pulled over at the rest stop.
Yeah.
Pulled us over. The trooper's like, "We got reports, you guys."
Allegedly
doing X, Y, and Z. He goes, "What do you got in the car?" He goes, "You better get rid of it." He goes, "I'm radioing down the road." This is the difference between law enforcement then and now. Get rid of it all.
They gave us the warning.
Because we're going to pull you over as you go down. We're going to radio ahead, and then if we find everything, you're all going to jail.
That's it.
Okay? And it was just...
That's before anything started.
Yeah.
We had like 2 carloads.
Oh, yeah, it was 3 cars.
3 cars filled with 230, 250 pound plus guys getting ready to get silly and have fun.
But we had to dump all the beer that we bought and leave it. Because you couldn't fucking... They told us, if we find it, you're all going to jail. So... True story.
It wasn't him, Rye, that was doing any of that silly stuff. It was the other guys in the other cars.
Yeah,
you know, I think we were listening to gospel music.
We were the voices of reason. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
did you guys get into any fights down there?
No.
Actually, yeah. Surprisingly,
no fights down there.
No gang fights.
No. We listen.
And we had a crew.
Did you get into a fight at a bar?
No, that was New Year's Eve.
That was college.
Yeah, that was college.
Sorry.
No, that was college. I did get in a fight in New Year's Eve in college. I think he could tell that.
Here's the best part.
Yeah.
We went up to visit a buddy up at his college.
RPI.
Yeah. And he's like, "Hey, let's go over to this bar. It's super fun." Now, mind you, we had another crew of guys, and we had a couple killers with us.
Exactly.
And most of the people just wanted to get some TNA. So I'm behind him. Now, I had gotten injured in the military, so I had a paralyzed arm.
No arm.
Literally, all I could do was wiggle fingers. Yeah. I couldn't raise it, I couldn't move it, I couldn't do anything. So we're walking through this bar. Unbeknownst to us, it is literally a fraternity of brothers. There must have been 40 brothers in there, in this one fraternity. We don't know who anybody is. We're walking, And Paul, we're trying to get to the bar to get a beer, and I'm walking behind him because he was bigger than me, and it was easy just to get into just to get into his little wave and current. And he says, he turns around and he goes, and now we've been bumped like 100 times. And when people bump you, they're bumping you like this.
Yeah, they're not fucking.
It's not accidental.
They're not crazy. They're fucking hip check.
Yeah. He turns around and looks at me and says, I'm going to say something right now, Chris. So just be prepared. The next guy that bumps me, it's on. So get ready. And I'm just like, get ready. My dominant arm is completely done. What am I going to do? You know, the Curly Moe and Larry? Like, what do I got left? Sure enough, not even 3 steps later, this guy, probably 6'6", 280 pounds, shoulder bumps him. And like, bam, hard. He goes like this, grabs him by his throat, and starts running.
Off the tables.
Now tables are going boom.
Wait, who grabbed who?
He grabbed the guy by his throat and just started running forward. And the tables are flopping everywhere. Things are flipping upside down. People are getting knocked down everywhere. Well, it just so happens that this guy was one of those 40 fraternity members.
Not good.
So now there's, 10 of us on 40. So I'm like, oh shoot, what am I gonna do? So I'm like, in my head, I go, all right, let me think, I got it. So this guy goes to grab him. I pretend like I'm gonna punch him, and I go like this, but forgetting that my arm doesn't work, and I go like this, and my arm kind of goes like this, look. It literally just kind of went like this. Yeah. And he looked at me for a second like, oh,
really?
And I was able to grab it, put it around his head like this, and just hip check him and bring him over. So we're on the floor. Now mind you, the minute I let go, it's over. I can't do anything. I'm not going to be able to hit him.
The vision of this is this. All you see is him with the he's got him with his left arm and the right arm's like this. he's just like, he's not even slapping him in the face, but.
And I say, listen, you better not move or I'm gonna kill you. If I release this hand, you're dead. I can't do anything. Next thing I know, 5 of his fraternity brothers are on top of me. They're kicking, they're punching. So I'm kind of covered up talking to this guy because we ended up becoming friends and we exchange emails and stuff. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just covered up trying not to get hurt. Next thing I know, I'm like, I can move. What's going on here? This guy, Smitty, is picking people up by their belts and punching them in the face, knocking them out cold and throwing them to the side. Yeah. While that's going on, his story's up. Meanwhile, he now is jacked up by about 7 guys.
They're stomping his shit out.
Like this. They got 2 guys on each one of his arms. Absolutely. I was in the middle of the scrum at this point. Tell him what happened from that point.
Fucking Smitty saved my life. He started dropping these guys, and he got me free, and I was able to defend myself again. But he wasn't there. But I think the funniest part of it was
our biggest killer.
Fucking John Carlos there.
Our biggest killer.
This guy's on the fucking dance floor worrying about tits and ass.
Yes.
And he comes and the brawl's over.
Yeah.
So that was actually And
then what about Fatty?
But
this might be the best story of the entire trip.
Fatty's obliterated, drunk out of his mind. The fight's over. We're about to leave whatnot. Next thing you know,
and the place is wrecked, and the owner of the bar is unconscious because Smitty knocked him out.
Smitty punched him.
How big is this guy, Smitty?
He's lumberjack big. He's
6 feet at the time, 230. You know what I mean?
But he worked on like heavy equipment. He was like his forearms were like Popeye.
Fucking hillbilly.
He's just a hillbilly. Yeah.
So but anyway, so Fatty Tompkins ends up talking to some guy's girl that didn't like it. So Fatty ends up punching this guy in the face. So Fatty's so fucked up, and now he's telling a story like, I told the guy, you got to the count of 3. Not 3. Tree. If you really like, I'm gonna punch in your face. So he's telling the story, and it's to the point where he wants to fight every bar we go into and this and that.
Because now he's turned on, so forget about it.
And Fatty is not a fighter, never was. He's just not who he is. So
he's a lover.
Yeah, he's a lover. Fast forward, we're driving home. It's me and him I'm driving, he's in the passenger seat. In the back seat, it's John Carlo, Steve Smith, and Fatty Tompkins. And I'm sitting next to him, and I'm going like...
He's elbowing me on the side.
Because you go, Fatty, tell us that story. What happened? What happened with the girl? And he told the whole story. 1, 2, 3, I told him. John Carlo goes...
He got fed up with it.
Because
we made him tell it like 15 times.
He goes, Fatty Tompkins, I seen the guy you hit. He didn't even weigh 140 pounds and he never went down. Shut up! So the whole car lose it. So Fatty, in typical fashion, waits for silence. He lets it stay quiet for 5 seconds and it goes, fat kid, pull the car over. I got to teach Carlo a lesson. And that's not a guy you're going to teach a lesson. So we just started laughing like, Fatty, we're going to keep driving. And he was joking though.
Can you elaborate who John Carlo is for some people who might not know?
Oh yeah, John Carlo is was my first instructor in martial arts. He has schools in Patterson and Pauling.
Yep.
His claim to fame, he's a master boxer.
Absolutely.
He was.
He's worked with both of us with boxing.
Yeah. He's his claim to fame is he's the only guy in boxing history to make his pro debut and knock out a heavyweight champ.
Yep.
Overall,
legitimate hands.
Yeah, overall badass, jiu-jitsu black belt.
Who was it that he knocked out?
Oh, Leon Spinks. Yeah, Leon Spinks was trying to make a comeback, and he picked the wrong guy to do it against. Absolutely.
So how long were you guys wild for? When did that kind of start calming down?
I don't think it ever calmed down. I think it became less, right?
And here's the thing. The reason it has to calm down now is for two main reasons. The first is they just lock you up.
Yep.
And the second is they don't fight fair anymore. They use guns and knives.
Right.
Back in the day, you jumped out of your car, you either beat somebody up or you got beat up, you grabbed your stuff, you went in your car, you collected yourself, and it was over. It's not how it works anymore, man. People now, you jump out of the car, they just shoot you, get back in their car, and drive away. We got stuff to lose now.
Yeah.
We can't.
That's why the waiver became famous.
Yes.
You
sign the waiver, and then we can figure out what we need to figure out because you're not suing us, you're not taking our stuff.
Right.
We've worked too hard for it, or more importantly, I'm not getting killed or injured. I gotta still take care of my family.
That's right.
And so, I was the guy who used to carry change in the side of his car. Just because after you were a jerk on the road and you cut me off and you gave me the finger, I was like, screw this. I just drove up next to you, smashed your car with chains to scratch it to get you to pull over. I'm not that guy anymore. Now I listen to
fucking rainstorms.
Yeah, I listen to rainstorms. I do deep breathing. So we've had to have evolved.
Yeah.
And not only that, dude, we're also getting older. And I don't want to get punched in the face anymore. I'm just being honest.
Exactly.
Dude, that shit hurts.
What do we got, Pete?
Did you guys ever wake up in the same bed together?
Never.
Okay, yeah, we did, but here's the thing: we had clothes on, we didn't touch each other.
I heard rumors about this.
remember that guy up in Mohegan Sun? There was like people getting to bed. You and I picked the same bed. That son of a bitch didn't stop snoring. We almost kicked his ass, and we didn't really know him that well. He was a friend of a friend's.
Yeah.
Dude, he snored so loud, we couldn't even focus, and it got to the point where
That's a true story.
Yeah, this is a true story. So we didn't.
In our final minute, can you tell us with your sons, if they behaved like you guys did, how do you guys tolerate that?
I think there's a rite of passage in tolerance, to be honest with you. On a serious note, to answer that quickly and honestly, listen, if they're doing man shit,
right,
and there's tomfoolery and man shit, I don't have a problem with it, and then I will discipline and correct need be. If they're acting like a jackass like these kids now with the drugs and no motivation and everything else, then we have
to get involved. My philosophy is this: as long as I don't get a phone call from the cops or your teachers, you can burn the town down. I don't give a shit.
Right.
Just don't let me get a phone call, because I get a phone call, you're dead.
That's it.
That's how I work. I get a phone call, you're dead.
You're dead.
I don't get a phone call because we burnt the towns down when we were growing up, but my parents never found out, because guess what? We would have been dead.
That's right.
Well, they're gonna know now.
Guys, I hope that you all enjoyed this brief question and answer. Please send them in.
Keep them coming, absolutely.
And we will do this as often as possible as need be. Guys, Paul Seattle, Christopher Shea for the Matt Chat Podcast. We will see you guys next time.